townhall.com.
Let me paint a picture for you. It's midnight and sirens are blaring and you only have seconds to grab your child and run. Now, imagine you're elderly, getting downstairs, and after all of that, you end up in a bomb shelter for hours, even days, because you just can't make that trek up again. That's what's happening across Israel as Operation Epic Fury continues. Children are being traumatized, families are exhausted, homes have been destroyed. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is there, because as Israel continues to be under attack, its people on the ground are just trying to survive. The fellowship is bringing life-saving aid and emergency supplies to the most vulnerable. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to stand with Israel and stand for good against evil, this is it. This is the time. Join Christians around the world in praying for Israel and her people, and for the brave troops putting their lives on the line in this battle between good and evil. Stand in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
It's a repeat for last year's winner of the Iditarod dog sled race in Alaska.
Former reality TV star Jesse Holmes has cruised to a repeat victory in the Iditarod, the roughly 1,000-mile sled dog race in Alaska. At the ceremonial kickoff, March 7th, Holmes said he wanted to put his best foot forward.
It means everything to me to defend the title. It means I have it, It means I achieved my biggest goal in life, but we're not done, I just want to try to keep pushing myself to do great things.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Americans still dig French bulldogs, retrievers, and German shepherds, but dachshunds are increasingly hot dogs. For the first time in over 2 decades, the sausage-shaped hounds were among the top 5 most prevalent dog breeds in American Kennel Club rankings. That list covers 202 breeds. The standings are based on puppies and older purebreds that were added last year to the AKC registry. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. One more evening with a freeze. We'll get down to 32 overnight. Tomorrow we do start to warm up. It'll be a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 65 degrees as our high. We're up to 74 with sunshine on Friday, and the weekend looks wonderful. Low to mid-80s both Saturday and Sunday, and abundant sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
The Point. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
We welcome you into Sports Talk on this Wednesday night. Beautiful afternoon in the Palmetto States. Hope you had a great day so far. Our job is to make it that much better for the next 2 hours. We get 2 hours a night, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month. That's right. We work 40 hours a month on the air, but a lot more behind the scenes. Hardest working sports talk radio show in South Carolina. Chris Bergen, would you at least agree with that? You agree with so little. Would you at least agree with that?
I'm not the contrarian that you paint me to be. Yes, I would agree with that.
Good. And we're paid like 40-hour workers, like, $5 an hour. That's kind of what we make over here.
Exactly.
$5 an hour. So
ready for the minimum wage to go back up a little bit further.
Absolutely.
We should start
I'm
a
sure
union.
I'm not alone.
Start a union. Is there a broadcasters union, Phil?
Well, I think there is, but this is a right-to-work state, so it wouldn't fly in South Carolina. Plumber.
Maybe we can talk to
move up north.
Yeah, I'll have to move up north. Maybe I can produce from a different state.
Maybe you and Samantha can head north for the summer.
Sam for short.
Yeah. All right. It's great to have you with us. Lots to talk about tonight. The busy day over at South Carolina as the Gamecocks practiced today and had a bunch of visitors on hand, handed out a bunch of offers. We'll go over that in recruiting a little bit later on. Champ Bailey was there. I saw Champ Bailey walking through the parking lot of Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs over there at the football office building, and had his son with him. His son's a prospect in the 28 class. South Carolina offered him. And as he was walking by, he was introduced to us from a little bit of a distance. The guy was escorting him to his car, I guess. And I said, "Hey, there's no hedges over here. Don't be looking for the hedges." He laughed, of course, because it was cute. And I also said, "But if you want hedges, in other words, if they want to get your son and you want hedges, they'll put in hedges for you. Don't worry. All you got to do is ask, and they'll put the hedges in." Champ Bailey, though, remember him at Georgia? What a great player he was, and also in the NFL.
Tremendous.
I mean, you just did not venture into his part of the field.
No.
You did that at your own risk.
I'm looking at some of the accolades off his Wikipedia page. 3-time first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowl, and this All-Pro rather. This is all his NFL stuff. 12-time Pro Bowl selection. He was the interception leader in the NFL back in 2006. He was a member of the Commanders' 90 greatest teams, the Denver Broncos' 50th anniversary team, and he's in the Broncos Ring of Fame. His son, God bless him. He's got a lot to live up to. Does he play defense too?
Yeah, he's a defensive back and a wide receiver. They call him an athlete. Mm-hmm. So he is both. He can do both. I don't know. I imagine they would be looking at him as a defensive back. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. I was wrong on something last night, Plummer, if you want to get the siren ready. I will take another L. If you're ready to do the official warning.
I sure am. I always am, Phil. I enjoy it, actually. It's my favorite part about the show.
I was going to say, you've really taken to the siren. Well, last night, in our conversation about the NCAA tournament and the first four last night, I made the comment that, and somebody texted to us and sort of corrected me, and then I did a little bit of research and realized that he was right and I was wrong, and that is, I said that NC State had kind of overachieved with the new coaching staff and turnover, but they were picked fourth in the preseason ACC poll. They were picked fourth, and they didn't come in the top four, but they weren't too far off, and so they made the tournament, which I guess really was not overachieving. I guess you really couldn't say that was overachieving for NC State, so I probably am wrong. Texas underachieving.
I don't know that that's a sort of
factual
error. Factual error. Thank you. That's more of an opinion.
Plummer,
than a factual error.
Plummer's the commissioner of the errors.
The Error Commission?
Yeah. You've already put it in, haven't you?
I have. It would be the 41st on the year.
Yeah.
Now, if you base it on Will Wade's assessment of his team, they terribly underachieved. He said afterwards that this would be the worst team he coaches at NC State. And, of course, if he ends up going to LSU, he'd be 100% correct.
Right.
But he said this is the floor for his time at NC State. Now, read between the lines with this dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be at LSU by this time next week, so who knows.
Yeah.
But that's what he said. He felt like they terribly underachieved.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see. Tonight we're going to have another edition of Chalk Talk at 7:05. Coach Reedy is not on his vacation. He notified me today that he did not leave town, so he is available. So we will have the two, Coach Reedy, Coach Johnson, to talk some spring football in our second hour. It's an SC Wild night with Major Billy Downer on the bottom of the second hour, looking ahead to the always huge, really one of my favorite events. And I'm not really an outdoorsman type of guy, but I love the Sportsman's Classic. So much fun, so much great stuff, and it's one of the biggest attractions. I think outside of the State Fair itself, it's the biggest attraction at the State Fairgrounds on an annual basis, and that's coming up on the 28th. So we're going to talk about that and preview that since it's right around the corner. Also,
wouldn't the second biggest and the third and the following be the football games at the State Fairgrounds?
Well, they don't play the football games at the State Fairgrounds.
I mean, but it is at the fairgrounds.
Okay,
they park there.
We're going to start a stupidity list.
I don't think that's
Okay.
stupid.
We're going
I
to
was
start
just trying to get
a
you
list
in
of
another factual error.
Stupid,
I mean, factually,
just stupid comments.
Factually, more people show up to the football games and park there than they do at the Fisherman's Classic.
You agree with that, Bergie? Should we start a stupid list?
We might lose track before.
Oh my gosh!
Am I wrong, Bill?
Yes, you're wrong. It's not an event to park your car in the parking lot.
I think it's pretty fun.
Okay. Well, you have your fun parking. No, it's not an event. This is the second largest event at the fairgrounds beyond the fair itself. That's factually correct. You can smile at me all you want. All right, where was I? Today we heard from some of the South Carolina football players, and we'll hear from Gerald Kilgore, who's kind of become that senior leader. Of course, his brother, Jalen, did so well and is going to be a really early pick in the NFL draft. And his brother, Gerald's kind of waited his time after transferring from Tennessee Tech, where he was a quarterback for part of the time, but now he's back there playing corner and safety for nickel and safety for South Carolina. So we'll hear from him what he had to say to the media today. Clemson baseball tonight. The Tigers continue their 2-game visit to the Holy City as they're taking on the Citadel tonight after knocking off College of Charleston last night, thanks to Savoy, who had 2 homers and 3 RBIs. South Carolina off, getting ready for a weekend against Arkansas. I really hate to get into the weeds here, Bergie, but I think we should. I think I should.
But to that point,
Paul Maneri. The game yesterday was one of the all-time worst games. Has to be one of the all-time worst games in South Carolina baseball history. Has to be. First of all, the attendance was non-existent. Maybe 500 people in the stands. And I'm being generous. All right? So, number one is the attendance. And not just at that game. I mean, all games this year have been poorly attended. And because fans are turned off right now. So that's that, number one. Number two, the performance was just atrocious. I mean, everybody that puts on a South Carolina uniform should be embarrassed by that performance. Head coach down to the last player in the bullpen. I mean, 5 errors, 8 unearned runs. You lose to Charlotte for the 4th straight time. You lose for a 5th straight time on the season. You're about to hit 500 on the season. If they get swept by Arkansas, they'll be underwater again. These things are looking very, very poorly. And I don't know that Paul Maneri right now has any answers as to how to get this team straightened out and winning. The guy's had a great career, but he is damaging himself from that standpoint. And I'm just wondering out loud here, if they get swept by Arkansas, and maybe even the next weekend, but really coming off a home weekend against Arkansas, does Jeremiah Donati have to look at something here and decide this just isn't working, and to try to salvage this season, I've got to do something, and I've got to make a change, or this season is just going to be intolerable. It's going to be so ugly that you may not recover from it for years. Now, you can recover very quickly by going out and signing a bunch of off-season free agents and having the right people in place. But seriously, does South Carolina have to, if this weekend goes poorly against Arkansas, and maybe it won't. I mean, they have a couple of starting pitchers on Friday and Saturday. If they continue to pitch like they have and they get some support behind them and maybe a little offense, they can win a game or two. But I just don't see the signs of that happening, because when you're getting great pitching, as they got at Florida the first 2 games, they had no hitting whatsoever. And then even when they scored a few runs on Sunday, 3, that's not nearly enough. They didn't have good enough pitching to make that stand up. So putting all the pieces together, offense, pitching, and defense, they've yet to do that this season. And so the question is, will they ever do that this season, or is this season just going to be a complete disaster for Gamecock baseball?
And Phil, it's entirely possible that they could lose 12 games in a row, because you got Arkansas this weekend. We all know how good Arkansas is. Then you have the neutral site game next Tuesday against North Carolina in Charlotte. We know how poorly South Carolina historically has played in Charlotte, even though they've won a few, but it just doesn't seem like it's a good place for them. And then they go to Georgia, and this is a Georgia team that's 18-4 on the year, playing really good baseball, before they get Wofford after that. I mean, it could go off the rails in a heartbeat if it's not already starting.
Bergie just went off the rails, and he did it in a heartbeat.
He may come back really fast.
No, I don't hear him. All right, I'll pick it up. I hear what you're saying, and I'm glad you cited the upcoming
teeter off the
schedule
rails
because
now. And you watched last night, and there's no energy in that dugout. Certainly Venezuela took the lead and going late in the ballgame. You thought, oh
take
my
him
gosh.
down, take him down. I'm sorry. That's just what. Now you're a technical guy. What causes that? That's the digital stuff catching up.
Yeah. It's trying to it realized that it cut out for a minute, so it just tries to replay it. It was had it. Bergie's back with us now. By the way,
Am I back? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you sounded like you had some
I was
helium.
just ranting on.
It
I was having a good time.
sounded like you took some helium and speed together.
Definitely the speed. It was like.
So, apologies.
But here's my question. All right, I understand, and I'm glad you pointed out the schedule because you're right. If they don't get right in a hurry, it's going to get ugly in a hurry. And so, if you're Jeremiah Donati, do you just let this season play out, suffer through it, realize that you're going to be playing in front of empty seats at home all season long, a disgruntled fan base, a disinterested fan base, and do something after the end of the season? If necessary, or do you do something now and try to salvage this season? I mean, look, we've maybe not so much football, basketball, but you see it all the time in baseball where they change leadership, they change managers in the pros. You don't see it so much in college, but sometimes a change in voice, a change in leadership puts a spark into the team. I'm not suggesting, I'm not sitting here calling for it. It's not my place. I'm not suggesting it either. I'm just wondering if that is something that is being floated around through the heads of the people in charge at South Carolina. They certainly have to be recognizing how bad things are right now with this baseball team.
And I mean, this is the premier, used to be the premier program at the University of South Carolina. I mean, baseball, just think back. I mean, we're not that far removed. We're 15 years out from when they were the most dominant program in all of college baseball. No one, maybe with the exception of the Southern California teams went in the 70s and the LSU teams in the Gorilla Ball era, but no one had a run like they had from 2010 through 2012. And to see it just fall off a cliff the way it has right now has got to be just staggering over at USC. And I mean, if you go that route, first off, does Paul Maneri want to suffer through the remainder of the season? Does he bail Jeremiah Donati out and say, look, this isn't getting it done? And does he pull a Spurrier and just step down midseason? A little bit different, situation. And do you promote Monty Lee and let Monty, as the associate head coach, do you let him finish the season and see where he goes from there? But if they go that route, is it better to part ways with Maneri midseason and already start your coaching search, or do you wait until the end of the season and then have a clean break and start your coaching search then?
Absolutely, yeah, that's what they have to consider. So I don't know. I don't have
the answer either.
I know
one thing: they are a bad baseball team.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I've never had these kind of thoughts in my head about a coach this early in a season or even during a season. I've always believed in letting the coach finish things out, and if he's a good guy and he's trying hard and he's trying to do the right things, you give him a chance to fix it. You give him a chance to have another year. I mean, that's why I don't disagree with keeping Lamont Paris and giving him another year to try to get things right with Gamecock basketball. That's why I thought it was right to stick with Shane Beamer. Not that there was ever really going to be any serious consideration of making a change, but you give him a chance to fix what was bad last season and get it right. But I just don't see any signs here from Coach Maneri that he's dialed in, and at least when we get a chance to see him, I mean, the comments from last night after the game, I think we have a little bit of that, don't we, Bergie?
No, we didn't, but we were looking for maybe long-term. He wasn't asked about the long-term situation of the team. Most everything was last night's game looking ahead to Arkansas, and he basically wasn't ready to start looking at Arkansas. But his opening statement was all you needed to hear. I have no answers for what happened tonight, type deal.
Yeah, and they've had that too often in these non-league games, these midweek games and the early season games against non-SEC competition where they should be mowing these people down and they're just not showing up. I don't know if it's effort. I don't know if it's internal leadership. I don't know if it's ability. The body language, throughout is not good. Like I said, the atmosphere at the ballpark right now is very sour. So I think if you're an athletics director and you're paying attention to what's going on, I mean, it's early in the season. If you don't see some signs of life at home this weekend, knowing that you're going back on the road the next weekend for 4 games, how long do you let this continue to play out this way, before you decide that something needs to be done? I don't know. Just my thought of the day on what's going on over there with Gamecock baseball as they get ready to host Arkansas coming up this weekend. They had better figure it out, or it'll be a tough weekend for them against Arkansas. As we mentioned, it'll be Clemson playing at the Citadel tonight, and that first pitch is going to be at 7 o'clock, and it will be starting for the Tigers, Moeller on the mound, and for Citadel, it will be Bowers on the mound. So that'll be starting up a little bit after 7 o'clock. Tigers getting a win last night at the College of Charleston, and we'll be keeping up with other baseball going on as well as we move on through the program. All right, our phone number, 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery Lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Make sure you give us a phone call. Let us hear from you. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins. And playing for fun is a win for education. Our text line number is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847, presented by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance. Larry Lucas, taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com or call Larry 803-799-1998 Columbia, 803-359-0770 in Lexington, and we'll be right back.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400. NASCAR's best face the lady in black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, here to share some great news. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, can now be used for a lifetime of learning. From K through 12 to college and beyond, saving tax-free for your child or grandchild's education has never been easier. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax-deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com.
Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our competitive rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and budget. Featuring no payments for up to 90 days, you can apply for a pre-approved spending limit valid for 30 days before you start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers low fixed rates for used vehicles, giving you an affordable fixed monthly payment. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. See webpage for details.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
In 2012, inside Clemson football's weight room, a different kind of barbell was developed. The Tsunami Bar is a flexible, oscillating bar designed to enhance high-intensity training while helping reduce joint stress. Unlike traditional rigid bars, it moves. That movement forces your stabilizer muscles to activate, your core to engage, and your body to produce force more efficiently. The result is improved strength, better balance, and more functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports continues to provide innovative, dynamic training solutions that empower individuals of all fitness levels to reach their peak potential. Whether you're training for general fitness, building resilience, or improving rotational strength for sports like golf, the Tsunami Bar challenges your body in ways traditional equipment cannot. Learn more at TsunamiBarSports.com.
Back. Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, the plumber, Josh Cohen, and Chris Bergen from the Berge Palace. 888-898-2525, the phone number to reach us here on Sports Talk. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. And let's go to Keith in Camden. First up tonight on this Wednesday. Welcome in, Keith. How you doing?
Hey, Phil and Bergie. I'm doing well. I'll be real brief. I called last night after I suffered through the eighth inning and could not stand much more, and pretty much expressed the same comments that y'all have in your opening tonight. And, you know, I've been pretty vocal about Ray Tanner, unbelievable baseball coach, and thankful for all those years of great baseball, but I don't know if anything that he's touched from a hiring standpoint has proven to be successful long term, and I know that's been real critical. And last night I thought, well, maybe the board needs to share some of this blame, but man, I don't know if you listened last night, but it was pitiful. But my question is, what are we paying Ray Tanner to do right now? And I enjoyed the show, and y'all have a great evening.
Don't hold me to it. I'd have to look it up. This does not count as an error. But I think as athletic director emeritus and a special assistant to the president, I think he's making like $800,000 a year to finish out his contract. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers and look at the story, but I think that's what it is. But I'll double check that during the break, and we'll be right back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. One more evening with a freeze. We'll get down to 32 overnight. Tomorrow we do start to warm up. It'll be a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 65 degrees as our high. We're up to 74 with sunshine on Friday, and the weekend looks wonderful. Low to mid 80s both Saturday and Sunday, and abundant sunshine. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Luck is in the air at Palmetto State Armory. The St. Patrick's Day sale is live now at your local Palmetto State Armory. Stop in today and shop hot deals from great companies like a Springfield XDM Elite Compact for $319 or an XDM Elite Defender for $349. Looking to enjoy outdoors this St. Patrick's Day? Palmetto State Armory has the area's best selection of turkey hunting gear, outdoor equipment, and more. Stop in and save today during the St. Pat sale at Palmetto State Armory.
Deadly. With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Iranian state media says Israel has attacked Iran's South Pars gas field, part of the largest in the world. It's shared with Qatar to the south across the Persian Gulf. The Iran war has dealt a massive energy shock to the global economy by choking off exports of crude oil and liquefied natural gas that run through the Strait of Hormuz. In the case of South Pars, the energy shock would appear to have a different target, not Iran's exports, but its domestic energy supplies. Pakistan and Afghanistan have declared a temporary pause in escalating fighting. The announcements come 2 days after Afghanistan blamed Pakistan for a deadly airstrike in Kabul. Officials say more than 24 cars of a Union Pacific train derailed this morning at a Texas town near Houston, causing an ethanol leak, but was not a threat to the public. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of that sinking feeling when the electric bill arrives? Does the phrase peak hours trigger anxiety and a headache? Do you suffer from chronic fatigue of watching your hard-earned money evaporate right into the power grid? You may be suffering from utility payment anxiety disorder, or UPAD. Symptoms include sweating when running the AC, a fear of turning on lights, and a general feeling of powerlessness over your energy costs.
It's time for you to try Solaris from Ken at Broker Solar. Broker Solar isn't a temporary fix, but a lasting solution with cutting-edge solar technology designed to address high energy bills at their source. Many clients have experienced immediate relief from high monthly payments with reports of increased home value and greater financial freedom. Imagine a brighter future for your home and your wallet. Side effects include the freedom to use your appliances when you want and a powerful sense of energy independence. Broker Solar. A brighter outlook for your home and wallet. Call us now, 803-807-7417. That's 807-7417 or online at brokersolar.com.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Hi, I'm Sean Paliak, the new owner of Columbia Screen Printing and Design, formerly Bardak Design and Tease Me. We've rebranded, but our experienced staff and quality results haven't changed. We proudly serve the Columbia area with top-notch garments and design, and offer free delivery on our local orders. Visit us on Rosewood Drive near the fairgrounds, or check us out online. For t-shirts, sweatshirts, jerseys, koozies, and more, call Columbia Screen Printing and Design at 254-7940. We're local, fast, and ready to wow you.
Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our competitive rate can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and budget, featuring no payments for up to 90 days. You can apply for a pre-approved spending limit valid for 30 days before you start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers low fixed rates for used vehicles, giving you an affordable fixed monthly payment. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. See webpage for details.
Hey, have you gotten your bracket in yet for the Sports Talk Bracket Challenge for 2026? Make sure you get that in and get that in right away so you can have some fun with us as we watch the tournament unfold and see who is the smartest of us all. You know who won this thing last year? You did not win it last year. David Hood, who's a very smart guy. David Hood won it last year, so we had to pay up, and we paid up 2 tickets to Darlington. He wanted 2 tickets to a Clemson football game for the family, and so obviously we paid up. We pay up what we say we're going to pay up for this year's event. 2 tickets to Darlington for the Southern 500 and 2 tickets to a Braves game. How about that? I think that's pretty cool.
Now, here's the question. Is the weather going to be hotter for the Goodyear 400 or the Southern 500? It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees here in the PD on Sunday.
Really? Well, that's
I think like mid to upper 80s. Yeah.
Well, I may still be in Tampa at that time, so not my concern. I've got to get my bracket in. Have you gotten your bracket in?
I did. I finished mine this morning.
Who did you end up with?
Arizona winning it all over Houston.
Well, what are you laughing about, Plumber?
Do you want to win, Bergie?
Absolutely. Florida's not getting out of the South Regional.
Oh, really? They've had over
their guard play
20.
is not good enough.
They've had over 20 million brackets entered so far.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I mean, everybody does this.
Yeah.
I can't remember an NCAA tournament where I did not fill out a bracket.
Yeah.
Now, you and I, Phil, both go back to the days where you'd actually print it, cut it out of the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember the Charlotte Observer coming out with the brackets printed in the newspaper, and you cut it out and filled it out and stuck it on the refrigerator.
That's right. Yeah. I got to get mine in. I'll be driving towards Tampa tonight, so I'll have plenty of time to think about, it's so tempting to just go with a favorite all the way through or favorites all the way through, but you got to have a couple of surprises in there. Did you have any surprises, say, make it to the Sweet 16?
I did, and I think some of this is a heart pick. But I was watching the selection show on Sunday, and Clark Kellogg was really, really high on High Point as that 12-5 upset. So I've got them beating Wisconsin. In terms of, massive upsets, Central Florida over UCLA, that's a 7-10.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I didn't really have a whole lot. The problem is, last couple of years, and I think this is a product of, shifting in terms of player movement, and a lot of the good players that were at mid-major teams are now solid contributors on high major teams, so it makes it a little more difficult. Oh, I will say this, also went Akron over Texas Tech. I think the JT Toppin injury for Texas Tech is going to be a massive factor for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking at a couple things here that I will consider. VCU in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Got to look at that, and also got to look at the winner of Miami, Ohio, and SMU tonight gets North Carolina. I'm sorry, gets Tennessee. And, Tennessee's been that really hot and cold team. I think they're a team that has underachieved this season based on what was expected of them. And so I could see Tennessee maybe going down in that one. So I'll have mine up and Adam tomorrow and ready to go prior to noon when everything shuts down and we get into the actual first round. Got two more games tonight in the play-in round, and it'll be Prairie View A&M against Lehigh, the two 16 teams, and then Miami of Ohio and SMU, the two 11-seeded teams. And Howard advanced last night, and Texas advanced last night. So did you watch much of it last night?
I did. I watched a good bit of the Texas NC State game, and I was happy that Will Wade didn't win. But I tell you what, they got a bad break at the end of the ball game. If you watched the final shot by Texas, with about a second left to go, the clock stops as the ball goes through the net to put Texas in front. One of the assistant coaches comes off of Texas's bench and runs out almost to the free throw line in celebration. They are really fortunate the officials realized the situation and did not tee them up, because you could have easily given them a technical foul, which would have allowed NC State to perhaps tie the game and send it to overtime.
That was a heck of a finish, though. Back-to-back buckets like that. You're NC State, you think you're in good shape there, you score, but then Texas went right down. Guy hit a tough shot. Left-hander.
No doubt.
Hit a tough shot. The question about Ray Tanner, I looked this up, and so we are at the point where it runs from July 1 of 25 through June 30th of this year. He's making $987,500. Last year he made $1.175 million from his contract. The final 2 years, ending in 2028, he'll be paid $800,000. So he's got the rest of this year, and then he's got 2 more years at $800,000 annually, or $1.6 million. So yeah, he's still, he's working off the end of his contract, and he's getting a lot of money, and his job is to be a consultant to the president. A senior advisor is the actual term. I think he's doing a lot of work helping find folks to buy in on the property out around the stadium where they're trying to develop that property, and also maybe around Colonial Life Arena. I think he's doing a lot of that kind of work, trying to find, I don't want to say donors, I guess trying to find business people, and corporations and investors, to get involved with that.
I think his great sports regret is the fact that the baseball team has fallen off the map since he left.
Well, I mean, look, let's face it. When you look at all three male sports, the three primary male sports of this year for South Carolina, they were all three his hires.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean,
True.
football went 4-8. Basketball, did what it did, and baseball's doing what it's doing. And he hired all three of those coaches. So, to some degree, as much as you want to put on his back as a result, I mean, he's responsible for the people in charge.
No doubt.
And, Jeremiah Donati inherited these guys. And, they're getting paid a lot of money to do a lot better than what they've done. That's why I was questioning how far do you roll here with Marineri. With the season being so young, I'm sorry, Marineri.
Did you just call him Marineri?
Marineri. Paul Marineri. Anyway, the question was, or was raised, how long do you roll with him? Because the season is still so young and salvageable. But if you don't see any hope, especially after this coming weekend, if you don't see any hope after 2 weekends of SEC play, what are you going to do as an athletics director?
It's a great question, Phil. And I think you probably give him till the end of March, and then you've got a really good gauge because they'll be over halfway, I think, at that point in time of the overall season. And 3 series into the SEC, you'll have a really good idea where the program is. And then you're staring, if you wait until the end of March, then you look at Texas rolling into town April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So, I mean, it's not like this is going to get any better or any easier from a scheduling standpoint.
No. In the SEC, baby, it's either step up or get stepped on.
Or get run over.
Yeah. All right, to the football now at South Carolina. Gamecocks continuing with their spring drills today. They had a workout this morning, and then a few players were brought in front of the media to be questioned about things happening. That included one of the older members on defense, Gerald Kilgore. I can't believe he's in his 3rd season at South Carolina, but playing his way into a prominent role in the secondary as a safety and as a nickel. Man, he spoke with the media. He was asked about, stepping up, being that leader now that he's going into his 3rd year, being older, and, being one of those leaders back there in the secondary, helping to replace some guys who were some really good leaders back there, including his brother.
I'm really not like an outspoken type of person, but I know that there had needed some change, just kind of like in like last year, there was a lack of like just leadership as a whole and just cracking down on the small things. And I feel like, for us to be able to take another step, that me along with other people have to take in the role to be able to, say different things, the hard things that need to be said. I think I had to get in that role.
What's sort of the dynamic amongst your group at defensive tackle with some new guys and obviously some guys who are back? How do you feel like that's going so far?
I feel like we complement each other very well, just on the like run stopping, pass rushing and stuff like that. I think that we really work well with each other when it comes to that and like getting to know each other. Obviously, we have a lot of new people that have come in, freshmen, transfers, and I feel like we've done a good job trying to get to know each other and figure out how each other plays.
What was it like last year of coming in and then obviously Travian Robertson's accident and not being able to be around him all year? How tough was that for you guys, and what's it been like having him around this spring?
It was definitely tough, just, kind of getting to know him throughout that whole year, just like, looking forward to playing. I mean, him coaching us during the game and stuff like that. We obviously wanted him there very much, and then Dove ended up coming up and stepping up and doing a good job. Good thing Coach T-Rob kind of took Dove under his wing, so they kind of coach similar and stuff like that. And, it was definitely hard not having him there, knowing in the condition that he was in. The first week, we didn't really know how things were going for him health-wise. Some stuff came out, and then we heard about other stuff, and it kind of like worried us a little bit, and just knowing how, like the relationship we built with him and what was happening. So definitely that.
You mentioned taking on more of a leadership role. Are there guys on that defense you've seen also work to do that and make that an emphasis?
Yeah, definitely. Like Sean Murphy, Peyton, that he just came in here. Yeah, there's a lot of other people. Fred Johnson. There's a lot of other people that are definitely taking that role because we see the need that we saw what we lacked last year, and we're not going to let that happen again. So we're definitely trying to find more leadership roles around just the team in general.
Through 4 practices, what stands out about Tommy so far and what he brings?
He He brings a good leadership. He's another person that's definitely been a leader, just kind of helping me with the D-line as well, and just kind of him coming out and starting to practice off very hot, just kind of getting everybody else in the flow, just kind of being helping being a tone setter like the rest of us.
And for freshman defensive tackles, it can be tough to get up to speed, but anything that really stands out to you about Clark or Aiden Harris that you've seen so far?
Yeah, that's a good group. They're both coming along very well. I feel like they're advancing more than the average freshman, and I'm very impressed with both of them. I think that South Carolina has a future with those two coming in for sure.
Well, that was the impersonation of Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy by Gerald Kilgore. No, I'm kidding. That was Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy. I got the names crossed. When I was cleaning up the audio, I apparently clicked on the wrong one but wasn't listening closely enough. That was Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, defensive lineman for the Gamecocks, not Gerald Kilgore. We'll hear from Gerald
Josh,
Kilgore.
you need to pay attention
time.
to this. Yeah, you need to pay attention to this guy. You're going to be working for him. Sports media major at South Carolina and very well spoken.
Who's that?
Awfully impressed.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he speaks well. Well. And
he's going to have a future in whatever he wants to do.
Well, they hope
Very
he has a
sharp
future
young
in
man.
football. They're
Yeah,
hoping
I'm sure that's what
that
he
he
wants,
has a
sure.
future in football. Because, I mean, he was a really heavily recruited guy out of high school before he went to Texas A&M. And it didn't work out for him there. Started to come on a little bit more last year, I think. I don't know if you have his numbers in front of you, but started to come on a little bit more last season, started to become more of a factor on the defensive front. Now he's got a chance to be the guy up there this year. He got a chance to be the guy up front.
Well, considering he had 4 total tackles in his 3 seasons at Texas A&M and had 18 last year for the Gamecocks, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And 1 tackle for loss last season. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that they're counting on heavily up front.
Now I got to figure out where my Gerald Kilgore audio went since I misidentified that. But anyway, there's a little bit from the Gamecocks from their meeting with the media today over at South Carolina as their practices continue. Of course, Clemson remains out on spring break. Pick it back up next week with the Tigers. All right, update baseball as we go to break. Campbell has taken a 2-0 lead on Coastal Carolina, still batting in the bottom of the second. Bases are loaded and 2 are away, so Coastal Carolina looking at a bit of a hole here unless they can get out of this bases loaded situation. 2-0 Campbell. The only other game tonight outside of Clemson and the Citadel, only other game involving a state team tonight would be Upstate and Charlotte. And Charlotte is headed towards another victory. They were up 9-4 late in that game against Upstate. And we'll be back.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400, NASCAR's best, face the lady in black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
Oh, it's going to get hot this weekend. It's going to make you think about going to the beach. It's going to make you think about that vacation coming up at the beach. That should make you think about Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate, Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. If you don't have a place to stay at the beach and you don't want to stay in a hotel, you want something a little more private, something a little more, shall we say, to your own, you want to call Jimmy Smith and let Jimmy and the staff find you what you're looking for, whether it's a house or a condo, maybe one of each if you got a big crowd. 843-237-4246, online at Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. Your perfect beach getaway is just a click or a phone call away. 843-237-4246, Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. Reach out to Jimmy Smith today. Get squared away on your vacation plans for later on this summer. A few other notes to talk about tonight. If you want to join us, 888-898-2525. 3 from South Carolina, part of the AP Women's All-American team, Joyce Edwards. Second team, Raven Johnson. Third team, Tanaya Latson, honorable mention. Jordan Schultz reported sources that the Panthers are signing former Packers and Eagles running back A.J. Dillon to a one-year deal. He would effectively replace Rico Dowdle, who, of course, was fantastic. Wonder why I don't know if it was money. Why would you let Dowdle?
I have no idea.
Walk away, considering how effective he was, how good he was for you, you know?
That's a great question, Phil, and I can throw 50 of those type questions at Panthers moves over the years that will leave your head scratching. But yeah, no, Rico was outstanding last year. But I think the signing of A.J. Dillon, you watched him when he was with the Packers. I think that's a good move for them.
Mm-hmm. I really did watch him when he was with the Packers. Biggest thighs in football since what's his name? Campbell. Well, come on.
Earl.
Earl Campbell. Biggest thighs in football.
Good point.
Cam Coleman.
Dowdle also had, by the way, real quickly, Dowdle also had 12 million reasons to leave for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Part of the reason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you hate it. You know, it's just like in the college world now, but, you know, more established in the legacy pro sports world. Have your favorite players, man. You think they're going to be one of yours for a long time, but either the salary cap gets your team, or they just don't make the offer to a guy, and he's an unrestricted free agent, and he has the opportunity to move on and cash in even bigger. And, of course, we're seeing that every day now in the college world. Cam Coleman, you know, the receiver who was at Auburn, transferred to Texas, just signed an NIL deal with Nike. He is now part of Nike's brand new Blue Ribbon Elite program at Texas, the first of its kind in college sports. Coleman is one of 16 Longhorn athletes chosen, and so it doesn't say anything else about what he's going to get out of this, but I imagine there's a pretty good amount of swag and a pretty good amount of cash involved in that deal as schools continue to look for ways to appeal to players through the NIL space. So tomorrow we'll be in Tampa, covering Clemson in the regional down there. The practices begin at 11 o'clock in the morning, with Akron being the first one on the floor, followed by Texas Tech, and then Hofstra and Alabama. Iowa practices at 2 o'clock, and then Clemson will practice at 2:45. The Prairie View Lehigh winner will practice at 3:30, and then Florida goes out last at 4:15. So the first shall be last, as they say.
At least they didn't make the winner of tonight's playing game had to fly down there immediately and step on the floor first thing tomorrow morning. At least they gave them time to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that just makes sense. They as little bit of a break as you can give them. But that's just like if you make it into the tournament, you play a day, you get a day off. You play a day, you get a day off, that kind of thing. David Cutcliffe announced that he will retire effective the end of this month. 40-year career in college football. He's been in the SEC office as special assistant to the commissioner for football relations for the last 4 years. Of course, he was an outstanding coach at Duke and also outstanding head coach at Ole Miss. Very successful assistant coach at Tennessee. I think Duke and Ole Miss were his 2 head coaching stops, right? I don't think he was anywhere else. I think that's it. I think that's it for him. Ole Miss and Duke. And he was very good. Look at the quarterbacks he coached and produced at those 2 stops. And, of course, I believe he was the guy that tutored Peyton Manning at Tennessee, was he not? I think he was. You can check me on that. NC State sophomore receiver Teddy Hoffman's going to miss the entire upcoming season due to a positive test for PEDs. How about that?
I mean, how stupid can you be? I mean, really?
Pretty stupid. That's how stupid.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is there, but sometimes you get caught with those things in your system and you're just taking something you don't realize it has the ingredient in there that falls under the classification of a PED. But maybe that wasn't the case here. Maybe he knowingly was taking stuff. I don't know.
I would think, Phil, for him to have to sit out the entire season, this was probably not the first time.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yes, with him.
Sounds like it. Top of the third, Campbell with a 2-0 lead on Coastal, but Coastal has first and second, nobody out. And Upstate, as soon as I said they were losing to Charlotte, and they are, but they have come back to make it tight. They were down 8-3. Upstate's come back to make it a 9-8 game in the top of the 7th as they play in Charlotte. Charlotte team going for his 15th win. They're 14-6 after beating South Carolina yesterday in Columbia. All right, we'll hit the break. Chalk Talk is coming up with Coach Reedy and Coach Johnson, and we'll be back. Don't go away.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. Dozens of ships slipping through the Strait of Hormuz as Iran's oil exports get through.
About 90 ships, including oil tankers, have crossed the Strait of Hormuz since the beginning of the war with Iran. Maritime and trade data platforms report it's still exporting millions of barrels of oil at a time, when it says it closed the key waterway for vessels of the US and its allies. And analysts say Iranian oil export volumes remain resilient. Many of the vessels that have passed through the strait are so-called dark transits, evading Western sanctions that likely have ties with Iran. More recently, vessels with ties to India and Pakistan have also successfully crossed the strait. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Iran war has rattled the global flow of oil, with steeper fuel costs already straining households worldwide. In the U.S., drivers facing the highest prices they've seen at the pump in 2.5 years. Vice President Vance says he knows high gas prices are a big issue.
We are fighting against it, and we promise that when this conflict draws to a close, when this operation draws to a close, we're going to see those energy prices come back down to reality, because that's what the president promised to do. He delivered an energy-dominant agenda. It's made us much more secure in the face of these things. But yeah, we got a rough road ahead of us for the next few weeks, but it's temporary.
According to Motor Club AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular jumped to over $384, up from $298 consumers were paying before the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. Iran and Russia have both alleged that a projectile struck the grounds of the Bushehr nuclear power plant in the Islamic Republic, raising the specter of a radiological incident. Neither Iran nor Russia, though, say there was any release of nuclear material. More at townhall.com.
They say timing is everything in the gold and silver markets, and it's true. Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. Although you can buy at the right time, if you buy the wrong coins, you may not make a profit. When gold was $400 an ounce, many people were talked into buying high-grade old gold and silver collector's coins. Unfortunately, most of the people who bought these so-called semi-numismatic coins, like the $20 St. Gordon's and Liberty Head gold coins, have not broken even on their investment. Incredible, given that gold has risen approximately 525% since then. So while timing is everything, if you buy the wrong coins, the timing simply doesn't matter. Having a dealer who cares about positioning you in the right types of coins or bullion will mean more to your portfolio than anything else. That's why I deal with Nick Rovich and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. Or go to AmericanFederal.com. AmericanFederal.com.
Lisa Dwyer reports that a Macy's refresh is starting to pay off.
Macy's is reporting stronger than expected profits from the crucial fourth quarter of last year, and comparable sales are up again. The department store says an overhaul of its merchandise and improved customer service is leading to more spending by shoppers. The company, which also operates upscale Bloomingdale's and the beauty chain Blue Mercury, offered a mixed outlook for the year, projecting sales above Wall Street expectations while remaining conservative on the outlook on profits. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The National Retail Federation, the nation's largest retail trade group, forecasting annual retail sales will grow at a faster clip this year than last year, citing consumers' resilience despite lots of economic volatility. But the group says that the Iran war is too uncertain to factor in its impact on retail sales. Use an analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. One more evening with a freeze. We'll get down to 32 overnight. Tomorrow we do start to warm up. It'll be a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 65 degrees as our high. We're up to 74 with sunshine on Friday, and the weekend looks wonderful. Low to mid 80s both Saturday and Sunday, and abundant sunshine. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. It is the Wednesday night edition. It's great to have you with us. Phil Kornblut here, Chris Bergen there, and the plumber, Josh Cohen, is here as well. All right. It is now time on this Wednesday night to get down to some serious. Now, we had some football talk early, but that's a couple of rank amateurs talking football. Then again, the internet is filled with rank amateurs talking football. Not here, not now on Sports Talk.
Get ready for a deep dive into the X's and O's. This is Chalk Talk with coaches Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, let's welcome in coaches Chuck Reedy, Ellis Johnson. Great to have the two of them with us tonight. Coach Reedy, you know, after looking through the internet over all these years, Twitter and websites, I never realized how easy it is to be a football coach. It's just easy to identify talent, easy to decide who can play a particular position? It must just be easier than you people made it out to be all those years.
You just realizing that?
y'all were fooling us before the internet made us smart.
Yeah, I found out a long time ago. There's a lot of guys up in the stands that are a lot smarter than I am, I guess.
Did you ever, when you were at Clemson, besides having Danny Ford yelling at you in your headset, was there anybody in the stands that, like on a game by game home basis there, that you recognized that voice? They were just yelling at you about play calling or something. Was anybody like that stand out in your memory?
I do remember that there was a guy, and that's a long time ago. But since you mentioned that, there was a guy, and every game, it didn't matter what we did, he was always hollering, throw the ball, throw the ball. Yep, he had him.
That sounds like well, listen, you weren't known as Ground Chuck for nothing back in the day.
That's right. But anyway, we had him.
Ellis, good to have you with. Anybody ever yell at you from the stands?
Well, I think the social media stuff may have rescued us from some of it, because now they yell at each other and tell each other how smart they are, and they don't bother the coaches as much. But the scariest one I had, Chuck, I don't know if you ever went to the press box in Georgia, but you go out the locker room under the stadium, you go up an elevator, everything's fine. You haven't even seen an individual or person, human being. You hit the next floor, and you're about halfway around the damn stadium from the press box, and you're going to have to run the concourse with one security guard and about 7 coaches. So that's the only place. I've been called a lot of stuff at opposing places. Usually they call you coach or SOB or something else. Those Georgia fans, they yell at you by name. Coming down through them, hey, Ellis, we're going to kick your ass today. And I want to stop and tell him I'm not playing.
Well, I mean, you spent so much time around the SEC, Ellis. I mean, everybody, every opposing fan base knew you because you were with so many different teams around the league.
That's the only place they'll call him about my first name, and that was pregame. That was the game that he started.
All right, let's talk about what's going on here in the spring. Clemson's off this week, so they're getting a little bit of a break. South Carolina's catching up with their practices now, with a full boat of practices this week. Chuck, yeah, what you hearing out of South Carolina over there from any folks that you might have talked to? I did talk to somebody today out in the parking lot. The one thing I took away was, this individual said the vibe out there is really good. They feel really good about the coaches, the new coaches who've come on board, and what they've done so far here early in the spring, if that means anything about a vibe coming off of a practice field.
No, I think you're right, and everything that I have heard is very, very positive. As I've mentioned many times, I think that Coach Beamer did a great job in the offseason of his coaching staff and the people that he's hired, and I think they're going to be much, much better on offense than they were a year ago. I think in every area they're going to be better. And, I think Kimber Wiles, just in hearing him talk and his philosophy, I think is going to be great for Lenore Sellers. As I've, have said before, they're going to run the football. That's going to be, I think, something that'll be different in that they're going to find a way to run the football. And, I think they feel pretty good about the running backs. Like I was told, they don't have a Rocket Sanders, but they've got a good group of running backs. So, I think it's going to be very positive offensively for them.
Have you picked up anything on the offensive line? I mean, that still seems to be, especially since they lost the 2 offensive tackles, one for the season and one for the first part of the season. But it seems like just a group of guys, they're plugging in here, kind of plug and play, trying to figure out who's going to play well in the best spot for them? It seems like they're still trying to figure their way out with this personnel.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they're only in their third or fourth day of practice, and like you said, they've got two guys are out, but they brought in, I think, 9, and they had recruited some pretty good young offensive linemen. They're going to be better on the offensive line. It can't be much worse than they were last year. I mean, it's got to be better. And if you can run the football and you're not having people teeing off on the quarterback all the time, that'll make a big difference. And I think they're pleased with the athleticism of the guys they brought in. It's just a matter of finding the 5 best guys and then getting them together, getting the continuity between those guys.
Ellis, has got to be a big bonus for South Carolina to have Travian Robertson back full-time coaching the defensive line, not to take anything away from Coach Dove, who did a very nice job filling in. I mean, T-Rob is a guy that's very highly regarded, very much respected and loved by the players. I got to believe having him back and going full-time with everybody is a huge bonus for that defensive front.
Yeah, I think so, too. And I've said before, I thought when he first came in, there was a notable difference in the way those kids he had improved 2 years ago. So I think that's got to help them. And I do think Doug did a good job. But that just means they've got a pretty deep staff. That, plus I've mentioned before, I think Clayton, having been there every year and pretty much the same system, and it just is easier to recruit to it. It's easier to know where your weaknesses and your strengths are. And I think that's a big advantage to it right there.
Do you think Clayton is head coaching material? Is he a head coach in waiting somewhere?
I don't know him, Phil. I think I may have met him one time, if that.
But watching him do his job then from a distance, do you see head coaching characteristics in him?
I really don't know. I personally, somebody asked me if I thought Shane or Dabo were going to be head coaches when I was working with them. I don't know how you know that, okay? So I don't have any clue what you're looking for. But, I just don't know him, and I don't know much about him, so that'd be probably a stupid statement for me to make.
Sure. Well, we expect nothing less. So when you look at
not question, really.
I'm sorry, that was just too easy. So let's see if I can get Ellis to answer something here. When I look at the defense from front, middle, and back, I mean they look good to me. I think they're going to be really good on defense. I don't see any reason why they won't be a very good defense. Ellis, what do you see there overall with the defense?
Well, I don't follow the personnel anymore. Don't follow recruiting, and I'm not going to. I think they do a good job with the portal. I think they do a great job with the portal, and they have to. And I think, again, to me, one of the biggest things is the continuity. You got a coordinator, you got Travion back, you got a couple of changes, have happened since they've been there, but they've had very little movement on that side of the ball at all. And I just think that eventually helps you quite a bit.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, they've added, of course, various analysts like Dre Bly working there with corners right now. So that's got to be a bonus. But I mean, the only place they've had a changeover is that defensive end spot where Sterling Lucas has left. They brought in Deion Barnes, who's really highly regarded. I mean, Chuck, when you look at the coaching staff overall and the changes that Beamer made in the offseason, you have to give him a thumbs up on the player on the people he brought in to replace the people that left for one reason or another.
Oh, I've said that all along. I mean, I think you give him an A+ on what he's done with his staff, and I think this is the best offensive staff that he's had since he's been there. I really do. I mean, like I said, I think Kendall Briles is. I think Stan Drayton will be an upgrade at running back. I think the guy he brought in, the line coach, will be an upgrade. So I think the staff will be the best that he's had offensively, and I think that will translate to a much better offensive football team. I'm very just from what I've read, what I've heard, and what just looking at the big picture, I think, that they got a chance to be really good on offense.
So with an improved defense, if the defense is even better than it was last year, a better offense that's got to average more than 22, 23 points a game, Ellis. I mean, this – and of course, they do have a new special teams coordinator and some guys back from last year on special teams. It won't be like last year when they started all over. I mean, this might be a pretty complete team that Beamer's going to trot out there in early September.
Yeah, I think the only thing, like y'all was talking about earlier, got to get that offensive line group settled in. But they'll have time to do that. A lot of time over the summer and then preseason, get them all on the same page and working together. But I agree with everything y'all saying. I mean, on paper, they ought to have a shot this year.
Well, and the schedule sets up nicely for them, I think. The first part of the season, they got some winnable games, Chuck. They can get off to if they play good football and do what's expected, they could have a 4-1, maybe 5-1 start, set them up for the second half, which obviously the second half schedule gets a little bit tougher. Could you imagine, Chuck, back in the day, having to play Georgia and Clemson back-to-back?
Well, no, I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but no, I mean, it's a different schedule, but it is a better schedule than what they had last year. They still have some, they still got the SEC and they got Clemson, but I think it's a better, as you said, they've got a chance to get off to a really good start, get some confidence, and the schedule is a little bit easier, I think, than it was a year ago.
Ellis, you're talking about the playoffs. I mean, I know for this coming season they'll still be where they have been, but they're talking about expanding it once again. You got the Big Ten, pushing for 24, and the SEC is sort of kind of happy where it is, or maybe would like 16, but not ready to go to 24. And what do you think about the continuing talk about tinkering with the playoff system? Should they just leave well enough alone, or do you think you need to expand it and get more teams involved?
Well, I don't like the buys the first week, so I'm in favor of whatever number where you don't have to have those. In other words, I'd bump it up 4 teams right now, but I don't like the 24. I think they're trying to imitate or emulate the NFL. It's just not the NFL. And the dude at Big Ten, he's trying to run the whole league, okay? But he's snookered Sankey a couple of times. And I think they'll be careful letting the Big Ten be the lead dogs. They already got all the money and all the power, and it's going to be like it was back in 1958 when I was a little kid, and you couldn't turn the TV on and find a team from the South playing. But maybe every 8 months you get Alabama. So I don't know. I don't like some of the things the Big Ten proposes, and just you can tell it's coming from a position where they've got dominant money, and they're trying to push everybody mold it into something that fits better for them.
Yeah. Chuck, do you think how many years away do you think we are from having college football in a template that is there to stay? I mean, like every year we're messing with it here one way or another. 9-game schedule, conference schedule, 8 games, whatever, expanding the playoffs. I'm not even talking about the monetary side of it. I'm just talking about the physical makeup of the game and the structure of the sport. You think are we far away from, you think, getting to a point where things will be set for a while and we won't have to have these annual discussions of this change and that change?
Probably not. Somebody's always going to be dissatisfied with the way it is. I think I agree with Ellis. If they went to 16, again, do away with the buys. That's proven to be not very good. If they went to the 16 and maybe be there for a while, I think eventually down the road you're going to end up with a super group of maybe 64 teams with maybe 4 16-team leagues, and eventually end up with a playoff system. But that's down the road. But I think eventually that's where we're going to end up.
Ellis, what are you hearing from the Citadel? Your boys over there going through spring practice, and they had some good things happen for them last year. Seems like they're making progress. You keeping up with what's going on down there behind those walls?
Just a little bit. I don't go down as frequently because my son's here, and I just don't get down there as often as I used to. But I've got a lot of confidence in Mo. It's just a very tough situation. They are getting hurt by all this portal stuff. They're losing kids, and of course they can't bring them in as easily as most people can. So it's sort of it's like turning the thing over every year and starting over. But I think they've got the quarterback back, and maybe get a little consistency at that position, and then they'll have a chance to get battle even in that Southern Conference. But what I saw in the last 2 years, they're not playing well enough on offense to beat anybody in that conference.
Well, I think Maurice is doing a good job building this thing after coming in 23. So he'll be. I can't believe he's going into his fourth year, 23, 24, 25. This will be his fourth year. I think they're making strides, gradual strides here and there. And you're right. They need to pick it up on the offensive side, and maybe having the quarterback back is gonna help him there. But as an alum down there of the Citadel, Ellis. A new athletic director, and I know he's got some terrific ideas on how to improve things. What are you seeing some things happening around Johnson Haygood, or around the program outside of on the field, that are going to be positive and helpful for the football program?
I think it's in good shape. I don't think that they're keeping up the top half of that league by any stretch. Now, I'm a big Art Chase fan. He was at Citadel 3 different times, and I was too, and we never landed there together. But I'll tell you, a lot of folks, when I went in to be the head coach, he had just left. And there were a lot of people there that thought the world, his name would come up a lot. And so I think that was a good change. But a school that size, as the president goes, so goes the school. And they've been through about 8 or 9 years where the person in that position was a very capable person, but athletics were not on his radar. And so I think they've suffered from a lot of that. Hopefully, they're in the process now of hiring a new president. May have in the last week or two, but I don't think they've finalized. And hopefully it'll be somebody that prioritizes the athletics and puts a little more emphasis on it, because there's only so many dollars to go around on a school that small. And without the president really being behind it and feeling like it's an integral part of the school, it's just hard to overcome all that.
Yeah, that brings to mind, Chuck, and I'll let you guys go after this. Clemson also looking for a new president, and, they had a great alignment. They always talked about being aligned from the president through the athletic director to the head football coach. They were all aligned, and it worked beautifully. Can Clemson find that same guy to sit in that office who will be perfectly aligned with the athletic department?
Well, I think so. If you look at the board, I think you've got 4 former football players on the board. So I can't imagine that they would hire someone or allow them to hire someone that's not oriented and committed to athletics and to football. So yes, I would say that they will find somebody that is a football guy.
Well, I think they should hire you, and I think the Citadel should hire Ellis, and you would solve all the problems.
Yeah. Well,
I'll put them on somebody else.
All right, guys, we appreciate it, and have a great week. And if you're not on vacation somewhere next week, we'll chalk it up again and talk about. We'll have Clemson back in action, so we'll have them to break down as well. Thanks as always, guys.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you very much. Ellis Johnson, Chuck Reedy with us here on Sports Talk. Recruiting is coming up after the break. 2-0. Campbell continues to lead Coastal. And, hey, Bergie, wake up. Coastal's being no hit so far. It's only in the top of the fourth.
It's on television tonight, so I can't watch it. I am watching Citadel and Clemson. They're scoreless, bottom of the first.
All right. Be right back.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. When you go afield, always make sure to positively identify your target. Know the identifying features of the game you're hunting, and know what's beyond your target in case you miss. If you want more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
You can listen to SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network or at dnr.sc.gov/podcasts.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia. If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia. We're serious about saving you money.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time for recruiting tonight, brought to you by Seawell's. Make sure you get to Seawell's tomorrow, Friday, for the daily lunch and buffet. It's a great way to tip off March Madness. Go eat at Seawell's from 11 till 12.
Did you just say tomorrow is Friday?
No, I did not. I said Thursday and Friday. I said it's a great way to tip off March Madness. Quit trying to catch me in a mistake. I didn't make one.
Roll of TV
and I don't have time to waste arguing with you about it, loser. Anyway, Seawell's tomorrow for the daily lunch and buffet, and for all your catering needs, simply call Seawell's at 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. South Carolina offered a couple of more quarterbacks. Logan Flaherty, 6'2", 195, Port Charlotte, Florida. He's been committed to UCF since October 14th. He's got many other major offers. Last year, 2,636 yards, 27 touchdowns. The Gamecocks also offered at quarterback from the state of Florida, Kevin Verpale, 6'2", 200 from Merritt Island. He's been committed to Pitt since October 28th. He plans on getting down to see South Carolina. He's just now getting to know Kendall Briles and develop the relationship with him. So they got a little ways to go, but he is interested. He threw for 2,714 yards and 27 touchdowns last season. J.C. Sherbert reports that South Carolina will not make a move on Houston grad transfer offensive lineman David Ndwuke, who visited yesterday.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. One more evening with a freeze. We'll get down to 32 overnight. Tomorrow we do start to warm up. It'll be a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 65 degrees as our high. We're up to 74 with sunshine on Friday, and the weekend looks wonderful. Low to mid-80s both Saturday and Sunday, and abundant sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point. The Point.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The United States was informed of Israel's strike on Iran's South Pars gas field, but did not take part. Israeli forces are also attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iran has targeted Gulf energy facilities and made the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for roughly 1/5 of global oil, nearly impassable. Spring break travelers facing unpredictable lines at airport security as the partial U.S. Government shutdown strains TSA staffing. Wait times at airports are fluctuating greatly and can change quickly, even within the same airport, depending on staffing levels. More than 24 cars of a Union Pacific train derailed this morning in a Houston town near that Texas town, causing an ethanol leak. It happened in Richmond. No injuries were reported. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of that dripping faucet driving you crazy? Is your drain doing more of a gurgle than a flow? Don't despair. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is here to save your day. Serving our community as locally owned plumbing experts, Franklin Plumbing tackles everything from minor leaks to major clogs. And we're talking fast, friendly, reliable service. They respect your home. They respect your wallet. Josh and his team offer upfront pricing, and that's important. This team I'm talking about, they're fully licensed. They're insured technicians. They're ready for any plumbing crisis that you might encounter. Whether it's routine maintenance, a stubborn blockage, or a total plumbing overhaul, they'll get the job done right the first time. They've been out to my home, my brother's home, even his business. I'm comfortable, very comfortable, bragging on Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Stop letting plumbing problems disrupt your life. Call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning today and experience the difference that true expertise makes. Visit their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, or give them a call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Have you visited the original Pancake House on Forest Drive lately? Still family owned while focusing on amazing breakfast and lunch, fresh ingredients, and providing a family feel with the best service around. And isn't that what really matters when you go out? It's all about fresh, huge oven-baked omelets, their famous Dutch baby, and wow, those amazing pancakes. Gotta try those apple pancakes. Thick-cut bacon, the finest French toast, and oh, those homemade crepes. It's the original Pancake House, Trenton Plaza. Come see us.
Tartan Day, you might just learn a thing or two. We can't wait to see all of you at Tartan Day.
Break out your kilts. It's time for Tartan Day South, built by Culpeper Wood. This year's festival celebrates the Celtic influence on our nation's 250th birthday. The Celtic Concert is Friday, March 27th. All the great bands hit the stage for one musical night at the Ice House Amphitheater, downtown Lexington. And then the main event, Tartan Day South Celtic Festival, is Saturday, March 28th at the historic Columbia Speedway in Casey. Gates open at 9 a.m. to a 9-acre infield of lush green grass filled with activities and entertainment, Highland Athletics, Celtic concerts, South Carolina's largest British car show, sheepdogs, birds of prey exhibitions, and food and beverage vendors for the entire family.
Tartan Day, you might just learn a thing or two. We can't wait to see all of you at Tartan Day.
Tickets on sale now at tartandaysouth.com.
Life's busy, but that shouldn't mean putting your car care on hold. At Team 1 Sudduth Automotive on Millwood Avenue, you can drop off your vehicle outside business hours and count on our certified technicians to do the rest. From oil changes to engine overhauls, we make it easy for you and your car. Enjoy nationwide warranty, top quality parts, and a team that really cares. You can even visit team1automotive.com and book an appointment at your convenience. Team 1 Sudduth Automotive, we fix everything. That's team1automotive.com.
It's SC Wild with Major Billy Downer from the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer is here to answer your questions about the great outdoors. Call in now at 888-898-2525 and join SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, let's step outdoors. Beautiful evening in South Carolina after a gorgeous day. A little chilly. That's okay. It's going to warm up. And then we got a little bit of a chill coming, I think, as Bergie was telling me, next week. But then we'll be going full speed ahead towards that heat coming our way. Boy, it's hot out on the West Coast. It'll be here eventually. So it's a great time to be outdoors in South Carolina. It's a great time to celebrate the outdoors in South Carolina with the Sportsman's Classic coming up a week from Friday at the State Fairgrounds. We welcome in Major Billy Downer from the Department of Natural Resources. Always one of the big events for you guys, your organization, is the Sportsman's Classic. First of all, welcome in, once again, SC Wild from DNR, and the Sportsman's Classic, always a fun event. I love it.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for having me on the show for yet another Wednesday night outdoors expo part. So, next weekend, Palmetto Sportsman's Classic. It is the largest fishing and outdoor show hunting show in South Carolina. That's not hard to achieve sometimes, but it is the largest. It is the second largest show at the state fairgrounds, which is kind of cool, right behind the state fair. So 35,000 people average attendance, sometimes well over 40. And actually, it's one of the top 3 in the entire Southeast for hunting and fishing shows, outdoor expos. So a little bit for everyone there. As always, you got everything from deer scoring to turkey calls to duck calls to fishing gear to seamless gutters. And I do mean seamless gutters. There's a section of housing market there. It's got a lot of different things from gutters to roofing, whatever. So there's a lot of different things in the show. So it's always fun. But the Classic, again, it's next Friday through Saturday, March 27th through the 29th. Couple of things we want to make sure folks know. This year there's some new hours on Friday. It begins at 11 a.m. on Friday and goes through 7 p.m. So a little bit earlier opening. A lot of people like to go Friday to kind of avoid the big crowds. People always ask, what's the biggest day? Well, every year it's a little different. Usually we always get one rain day. It seems like no matter what, there's one rain day in there. Which is the biggest day? Sometimes it's Saturday. Sometimes it's Sunday. Most of the time, Friday's not the big day. So Friday's a good day to get out there if you want a little bit lesser crowd. Saturday is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., long day there. And Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So 3 days, March 27th, March 28th, and March 29th at the South Carolina State Fairgrounds. The prices at the gate are $14. Online is $12 per person. Active military vets and first responders and seniors get a $4 discount at the gate. So if you're over 55, if you're a military veteran or a first responder, you get to get in the gate for $10. So keep that in mind. Entertainment highlights. So, in the past, we used to have big names there. We've had everything from the Gator Man to everything across the board. Doc Dogs is there. This has kind of become one of their premier events, I think, in South Carolina. So Doc Dogs will be there. And this is when they compete for the dogs jumping the distance in the water. A lot of fun to watch. So it's pretty cool to watch that. But Doc Dogs will be there. So Nature Nick's animal program will be there, and that's always a hit too for folks. And then, of course, as always, every year, the Hog Trough, a 5,000-gallon fish tank with an angler demonstration that goes on daily, and that's in the Cattle Nut Arena. 5,000-gallon fish tank full of big, largemouth bass. And then the Aquatic Egg program has the fishing pond with 800 catfish that children can come and fish for free and enjoy catching a catfish on the line. It's always fun to watch that get set up at Big Pond, basically in a big, it's like an oversized kiddie pool. And when I say oversized, it's probably, 30 feet by 15 feet big. So kids gather around that with 800 catfish in there. It's a lot of fun for families. So if you have a small child, bring them out. It's a lot for everybody to do. Dad can look for different hunting gear. Mom can find stuff for her. There's even, when I say mom, if mom's an outdoorsman, don't want to count her out, plenty of outdoors gear for women there, particularly some targeted gear there for women, women's clothing lines, and children's clothing lines. Last year, I saw some dress coats in camouflage, kind of a new item coming out. Some really neat mossy oak style coats. It looked like they were more like a black tie event coat. So pretty cool there. And down toward the Moore building, there's things like Tupperware and other things for women too. So lots of things down there, little artwork, little metal work, lots for everyone to take part in. And of course, one of the big features all 3 days, if you have taken a nice buck this year and you want to get your antlers the rack measured or scored, bring it to the Sportsman's Classic, and you can get that scored by one of our biologists and technicians that are trained to do that. That will be an official Boone and Crockett score. So if you want an official Boone and Crockett score of your deer, come to the Classic on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and they'll score your deer for you. A lot of people will bring sheds in. Again, to get scored, you have to have the full rack together, and it has to be connected at the base basically the pedicle, the base of the brain there, of the cap, has to be connected together to get an official score. So it hasn't been altered, widened, or anything else. The full deer mount's fine, or the antlers set together, it's been cut off, is fine as well, as long as they are together one piece. So it's a lot of fun watching them score antlers. And I'll tell you, after 28 years of watching them do that, it takes a really nice deer to score in South Carolina. The score in our state's 125 is the minimum to make the state book. And my daughter is more fortunate than I. She has one deer in the book. I'd have 0 in the book. Cora shot a deer at 16 that scored 139 points. An incredible deer, nice, big, huge 8-point. And I'll tell you this, it's hard for an 8-point to make the book. Folks will bring in some really nice deer, and I've killed some really nice 8 and 9s. I've killed a 10 that did not make the book. Had a lot of width on one deer I shot at 20 and a quarter inch spread inside width. And people ask all the time, what makes that deer score? Well, if you come and watch, you'll see it. But the mass. People say mass. And what is mass? Well, mass is the circumference around those antlers. That's what gives you good scoring. Width, length of each tine, the tines being the horn, the individual horns, if you will, the tine length there. And if they're even and they're pretty much the same on either side, symmetrical, that gives you better score, and you don't get any what they call deductions, which is differences in inches. It's all a matter of inches. The 125 inches is what it takes to score a nice deer. So come out to the Classic, bring your best deer out there, and they'll score it for you. That's always a joy, and that'll be to the left in the Ellison building with the other DNR exhibits. Again, we always like to promote the Classic because our big sponsor, the Hampton Wildlife Fund, this is their major fundraiser that they do every year. And with the 375 vendors that are there, those vendor fees help fund the Hampton Fund, which funds all of our youth shooting sports programs. It helps fund fishing rodeos, our scholarships, so much money. The Hampton Fund's given us millions of dollars over the years, and it comes from things like this show, and this show is a big part of that. So I want folks to come out and support the Hampton Wildlife Fund by attending the South Carolina the State Palmetto Sportsman's Classic. Come out. You'll probably find something you want to buy anyway. Enjoy a time with your family, again, for all ages, between the catfish pond, watching dogs, finding a good duck call or a goose call or a turkey call. And I'm telling you, as you know, Phil will be out there, that's all you hear is turkey calls.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much everywhere you go. A little bit of everything for everybody.
All right. So if you go to the website, you can get the list of the vendors around the place. I don't know how familiar you are with everybody who'll be there as a vendor, but I want to ask you about a couple of here that jump out at me because I don't know what they are. What is or are mud honkies?
I have no idea. Mud honkies. Now, I don't know that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. I knew that'd be tough.
Strike one. Go ahead.
All right. Do you know OBX Skeeter Beater?
OBX is that's an outdoor apparel company.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the Skeeter Beater is going to be basically the netting clothing you can wear.
So that's what they
mosquitoes.
make. They make that to help you fight off the
Pretty
mosquitoes.
sure I'm right. Yes.
Yeah. All right. What about let's see what else here.
You looking at all these things.
Riverman Customs. That sounds interesting.
Riverman Customs.
You recognize them?
I do not.
Yeah.
I know a lot of folks that have come through here.
Yeah.
Throughout the years. Some of the big ones I know that come every year. The guys that I always go to. The taxidermists have been there for years and years and years. Of course, Marshall's Marine's been a big part of the Classic every year. The big boats show is part. A little early for the boat show, but it's great to have boats out there. A lot of great items to look at as far as boats. And Marshall's Marine has them from john boats to your center consoles, to side consoles, to pontoons. Marshall Marine is a big part of what we've been. I'm looking down the line myself, but I know also, like I said, a lot of call companies. I'm trying to think of the ones that I see every year here. And you'll see calls across this list.
How about Killam calls? How about Killam?
Killam calls?
Yeah.
They're a good call. There's a lot of good, Local Boy Outfitters, another big one. I want to hit the big people.
Okay.
Local Boy is a big outfit. They have a lot of good factors there, a lot of good clothing. They're there. Also, Haybo's there.
Haybo.
Haybo's a big part of our show, and they come with the mercantile company, a little bit different, but the owners of Haybo own the mercantile company, and they come out and do that and bring a lot of good deals. So as far as waterfowl calls, the ones that I always remember seeing, the waterfowl company's there every year. We interviewed him last year and talked about what it takes to make a good show for him. If you remember that, waterfowl company, boys right there from Sumter, South Carolina, makes duck calls, does a great job, and it's kind of hit the market pretty hard. And then also, there's so many calls out there. John Tanner calls. Mr. John Tanner was the one 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, Phil, I went and borrowed a turkey call on our show, and I used it on the show, and he told me to take it and kill a turkey, and I did. I did. It was great. But Mr. Tanner makes a handmade call, beautiful wood. He's from Hemingway, South Carolina, so a local vendor. And I love it when our local vendors come out because it's just something different when you get folks from South Carolina that have that unique ability to make a really good call that people can pass down. So the calls that he gives me, I can pass down to my son. He can pass down. They last a lifetime, and it's almost a work of art. So really good to see that as well. And turkey calls are that kind of thing. Duck calls made of acrylic and different things, and they do last a long time, and they can be passed down as well. But some of these turkey calls, the wood is just beautiful.
Yeah.
He's got different tones and the different lines that go through there. So it's just really cool. So,
I do expect, because you do this every time we're there, and we'll be there next Friday with you, you have an array of the turkey calls, and, you like to show off the beauty of the call, of the piece, I guess you would call it, and then you like to display your talents as a turkey caller.
Well, I do like to call a little bit. Yes, I do. I do that, but it's fun. Everybody that loves the call, you enjoy hearing the sound, especially the slate call. I just love hearing that slate, that sharp sound. The different tones that you can make on a slate call are just so unique sometimes. And there are folks can do it with a mouth call too, but I'm a slate call fan. That's just what I am. But there are so many different vendors out there. Bird Dog Apparel, they've been there for years. And like I said, Angling Women, there's another one specific to ladies to come out there and enjoy that. It just, again, so many different calls. Sarge Knives is there. I keep looking through the list, and I see so many people that I know. Sparrow and Kennedy, tractor. You've got folks coming, bringing tractors for folks that may want to do food plots, that don't know a whole lot about it. You've even got folks there that move trees. Last year there was this huge magnolia tree. It was about 20 feet tall. The gentleman had his EG company, moving company, they do tree moving company, and it's incredible. I met him, and actually he did some work for me. So it's fun when you meet people out there, and you end up finding out hey, this guy could do some pretty cool stuff. But Greg Adams has his company, EG and Company, and they move trees. And he had this huge magnolia out there, and they can move these trees that are 10 inches in diameter, which is incredible. He has a machine, a big machine basically on a huge cement mixer truck frame. And it is this big spade, and it can move up to 10-inch trees. It's just cool to take a tree and move it and then put it somewhere else, and it looks like it's been there all along. It's really cool. But he'll be there. I'll be interested to see what tree he has this year, probably the magnolia tree. But he had like a 20 or 25-foot magnolia tree set up on his with his truck, sitting out there in the middle of the driveway. So interesting, always interesting, the different things you see.
I want to check out, if you've ever checked these folks out. Now we're going to move to the food side, because that's another appealing thing, the variety of different things you can eat. Have you ever visited with 5-star pickles and sausages?
I've visited almost all of the food vendors, and there's so many of them out there. Some of them, and what you learn, and we've used a lot of these vendors that come to our archery tournament and sometimes to our shooting sports tournaments, shotgun sports. They are, there's kind of a circuit for those guys, and the fair's the big ones. And the ones that are real successful at the fair get to go to a lot of these other circuits and kind of ride that circuit and go around. So these guys come out and they've got, Fisk fries. Everybody that goes to the state fair, you know what Fisk fries are. But so I've tried a little bit of everybody's. There was another one, the Rock and Roll, what was it, Rock and Roll Coffee or Rock and Roll Cafe? And they have all kinds of flavors of coffee named after every rock and roll band, Kiss, Van Halen, you name it. They've got a cold brew coffee with a rock and roll name, and they'll be there. And they give us some coupons to get free ones, and they're awesome. So please give some business to the Rock and Roll Cafe. They do an awesome job.
So the kids' standpoint of this thing, and I'm sure a large part of what the folks who run the Sportsman's Classic, a large part of what they want to accomplish here is getting kids more and more to appreciate things in the great outdoors. And like you mentioned earlier, you got some special things that will attract the kids to come and participate, like the fishing pond. What are some of the other things that will be directly?
So it's a great question.
Yeah.
A lot of younger kids come, and they do this every year. They do basically where they can go around and they get little hints from every one of our DNR booths, and they can build it up on a page. Basically, it's a kind of a treasure journey. They go around and get little pieces of each piece of this treasure to kind of finish that treasure map out, and then they learn something along the way. So a lot of fun things there. Our education folks will be there. Sometimes they have a little sand digging area where they can play like they're digging with your like for artifacts, because our folks from archaeology are there, and they do a fun deal with involving kids to kind of teach them about archaeology in South Carolina. And then there's our touch tank, which I don't talk about that as much, but our saltwater folks have the touch tank there, and there'll be like certain things that they can touch in the touch tank, which is really cool to see. So a lot of things to see as far as kids can enjoy, going around and getting those little prizes, fishing in the catfish pond, and then also going to see that the fish in the tanks are fisheries folks do a really good job of putting, they've got almost all the fish in South Carolina in one huge tank. Big bass, big catfish, blue catfish, flatheads, channel catfish. They've got big bluegill, brim, shellcracker, warmouth, or what we call mowmouth in the country, and some and striped bass. I mean, they have a lot of different species of fish for folks to look at, and it's kind of cool to be able to see that in the tank. I always have fun when you get to see those fish up close, because when you're fishing, you only get to see them when you pull them out. You don't get to see them under the water. So in the tank, it's pretty cool. And again, our Tomo folks will be there with our big Tomo conservation trailer, which teaches folks about all the conservation efforts that have gone on in South Carolina over the last 150 years. I've got the number 5 deer in South Carolina ever taken. It's in that trailer. Pretty cool. It's over 170 points.
Wow.
It's an incredible deer. Yeah. And then we've got the deer aging, so you can look in that trailer to see what a deer looks like from age 1.5 up to 5.5, and kind of how they change through the years. And that's to help, promote folks letting one walk. Let that deer walk. You can get bigger to the next year, and you can really get a rather nice trophy.
Yeah.
So just one of those things you can see. We've got black bear, of course, and wild turkey are big game animals. In the story of waterfowl in South Carolina, as far as the wood duck, wood duck box program and the model duck box the model duck release program that started back in the 80s to the point now that we have a sustainable model duck population here in South Carolina, which adds to our coastal hunting in South Carolina. So a lot of pretty cool stories to be told if you just take time to look at them.
Are you seeing, over the years, more and more kids coming out to the Classic, their parents bringing them to the Classic?
Absolutely. So this is a family event, like I said before. You can bring kids in strollers, you can bring kids walking, toddlers, and there's something for everybody to do. Every child enjoys fishing in the catfish pond, no doubt about it. Anytime you get a little tug on the line, that's always fun, and the parents can take part in that as well. And then the coloring books and things you can get in our education area and doing the scavenger hunt, those things are a lot of fun for young people. And then for adults, as I've said, there's everything literally from hunting clothes, fishing gear, duck calls, turkey calls, decoys, gun safes, fishing supplies, all the way to seamless gutters.
And
so a lot for folks.
And you can purchase, right? I mean, this isn't just a display. You can purchase and take stuff home.
Absolutely, purchase and take it home. And some folks think that wait until Sunday they get a better deal because folks want to get rid of it. And sometimes that works, but I'll tell you, Friday's kind of the gym because you get to go in there. It's not quite as busy. So, again, to go over those hours again for folks before we get off tonight, to make sure everybody remembers. So, next weekend, March 27th, 28th, 29th, Friday's hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Sunday is 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, all 3 days, $14 at the gate. Again, $12 online if you buy the ticket online. And active military vets, first responders, and seniors get a $4 discount at the gate. Again, the largest outdoor show in South Carolina. I encourage everyone to come out to the Palmetto Sportsman's Classic next weekend to see if there's something you might like to add to your hunting box or your fishing tackle box.
Well, we look forward to it. I mean, I love it, and I don't know anything about what's going on, but I just love seeing everybody and seeing everything on display. So we look forward to being there with you.
Absolutely.
All right, Major, any final thoughts?
Well, again, just remember next weekend, keep it on your calendar. Bring the whole family, mom, dad, children, everybody can come. It's a lot to do. Come and spend a whole day. A lot of fun to be had.
We thank you, sir. Look forward to seeing you, and have a great rest of your week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Major Billy Downer, Department of Natural Resources. That is SC Wild here on Sports Talk. All right, top of the third, Clemson and Citadel are scoreless. Tigers have a couple of hits. Citadel's got one. Top of the bottom of the sixth, Campbell 2-0 over Coastal. Coastal did get a hit, but they're not yet on the board. Top of the ninth, Upstate has taken an 11-10 lead on Charlotte. Okay, that'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow night from Tampa.